Shalom, everybody. Bruchim Abaim to the land of Israel. Our favorite segment is a segment where we take you with us deep into the land of Israel to show you places, as I like to say, there is no quick concession stands. There is not a place for you to stop and have a touristy stores. Are places, though, that you can touch history. We are here in the Galilee with one of my most favorite Galilean. Actually, he's the second favorite Galilean. The first one is Yeshua of Nazareth. The second one is Mr. Eldad Keynan. He is here with me. I give him my hand. Come on, Eldad, come on. Come on here. We are in your home. Hood. Yes. You are in the territory, in the element. Yes. So where on earth are we? This is perhaps one of the most beautiful places, I must say, I've been in a long time.
It is.
Where on earth are we?
We are in Bet She'arim in Hebrew, in Lower Galilee.
Bet She'arim means a house of gates, or
house of gates or a house of measures.
Yeah.
And this place was where Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, the compiler and redactor of the Mishnah, he lived here, he died here.
Not just Yehudah Hanasi, the entire Sanhedrin.
He was the head
of
this rabbinic institution, whatever it was.
He moved his Bet Midrash here.
Yeah, he had a Bet Midrash here,
just
of course.
the thought that we are standing in a place, this is not just the burial, the place where he taught, where a place he compiled the Mishnah as we know it.
Yeah.
It's happened here.
Yeah.
This is the basis of all Jewish law.
It is.
Yeah, now everybody needs to understand something, that there is evidence. I'm going to already say it up front. There is evidence, as we're going to learn in this special exploration, evidence for early Messianic Jews who live in this area and buried in this area. You need to hang to your seat, because the discovery is here today, and then another expert who's going to be joining with you later on, going to be absolutely
amazing.
Amazing. No, truly, when we say it, amazing. Now, you have been doing a series to us about early Messianic Judaism.
In the Galilean and Golan Heights.
I'm really excited also. You're going to be in Colombia doing the first time a lecture of this type of magnitude outside the land of Israel, probably to this kind of audience. So by all means, if you really want to meet Eldad Keynan in person, you need to come to Colombia to really get the breadth of this. So we're standing here. It's what is known as the burial tomb of Yehudah Hanasi.
Rabbi Yehudah.
Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi. And not just him, there are other surprises inside.
Yeah. You know, his nickname was Rabbi.
The Rabbi, right, that's right. In the Talmud, that's why I say they call him the Rabbi. The Rabbi, right.
With no name, only the Rabbi, it's him.
Exactly. So, should we go inside and see what we can find out?
Provided that we go out back alive.
Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. There's also places here where Yehudah Hanasi, they say, he used to sit and teach, and we're going to see that in a little bit later. But friends, today episode, we started with Yehudah Hanasi. Later on, we're going to get to Messianic Judaism. Friends, we're bringing you this teaching because we really want to convey a message to you. Yeah. And I hope the message will come today loud and clear all over the world.
The message is concerning your roots.
The roots?
Yeah.
The roots.
Historical
So I
roots.
hope everybody will pay close attention. Let's go in. Let's check it out. All right, we are inside the cave of tomb of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi. So what do we see here?
Well, we have a very good example of different structures of Jewish burial niches. This one here is the classic, which is perpendicular to the wall.
Okay.
This structure allows for very easy concealment of the defilement inside, because the corpse defilement is
it's a huge thing in Judaism.
It's the most the corpse is the most defiled object in Judaism.
That's right.
So you conceal this with a few stones, as we will see later. But there is another type of a burial niche which is parallel to the wall, but this one, it's much easier to cut, but it's much harder to conceal, to block. And by the way, we have an inscription here.
By the way, let me ask you a question. We see two different styles here.
Yeah.
One is a typical Jewish style, one is not exactly typical.
Not typical Jewish.
Do you have any theory behind them being side by side?
Well,
any thoughts about it?
Yeah, we talked about it. That you can seal this one, we can block this one very easily, but you cannot block this one as easy as this one.
Why do you think that there are different styles?
I think that whoever buried his dead here had the seriousness of corpse defilement was not an issue for this man.
Could it be that is believers, early Messianic Jews?
Well, I believe that ancient Messianic Jews just wiped out the entire concept of corpse defilement as soon as Jesus died.
Yeah, we know that. Yes,
Yeah.
from other.
They couldn't stand the idea that he is rotting and a source of the most severe defilement.
That's right.
Yeah,
So it could be. It's listed.
just could be. Yes.
It could be, but I think there's additional evidence here in this
Yes.
area that are
We will see
much
it.
stronger.
Yeah.
Much stronger.
And by the way, we have here a name, Anina Hakatan, which means Hanania, small
The
Hanania,
lesser Hanani.
lesser Hanania. It's original.
Wow.
It's genuine.
No, so people understand this is a compound. It's not a single.
No,
simple area.
well, it's you've been with me in tombs in the Galilee, much smaller.
Yes.
And it makes the impression that this tomb was built in the first place to accommodate maybe more than one family members. And I'm happy that we can show more examples of typical Jewish burial niches here. And on the other side of the same room, another one like this. You can see the difference. This is parallel to the wall, and this is perpendicular to the wall. This is much easy to block,
Seal, yes.
yeah, but much harder to build. And this one is much easier to build, but much harder to block.
But this is not a typical Jewish.
It could be Jewish, but not typical Jewish.
Not typical Jewish.
Well, no.
And the question, why would it be in the burial tomb of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi? I mean,
It's a question stands.
it's a standing question.
Yeah. This room shows typical Jewish burial niches in the back room, in the back wall.
Sure.
But we have here these shallow burials which do not match the requirements of the Jewish halakha. I mean, people probably use this place to be buried so close to the most important rabbi in Jewish history. And
Which is Yehudah Hanasi, of course, yes.
yes, here we have the method of covering a Jewish, an arched Jewish burial. And here we have another example, but this is a shelf and not a burial. I believe that this was the shelf on which the family could leave the corpse for a year, and when their only bones remain, they used to collect the bones. So, but well, this is the only facility inside.
Interesting. But to me, when I see arches, Eldad, it's always suspect.
It's always
It's
yes.
always suspect. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I understood of early Messianic or early Christianity or Messianic Judaism.
Not necessarily, but but a doubt, yes,
Okay.
a possibility.
Okay.
And well, We can go to the other, to the owner himself.
The owner. So
Yeah.
the owner is Yehudah Hanasi. The question is, what is the purposes of the stone? To block it, right?
But if you look well, halachically, stones can block the defilement because stones cannot be contaminated with the defilement. But you can see, I'm not sure that this was the original. And you see the gaps between the stones. I understand that when so many years ago people buried their dead here, probably the stones were much closer to each other. But as you've seen in the Galilee, there are some, it's a bath-like burial, completely open with the arch. You can see the arch here.
Yes.
And arches are not as easy to conceal, to block. But this burial niche, kuch in Hebrew, is much easier to conceal. You can see it.
Easy.
Yeah. And we'll see if you down here. Yeah.
So they actually believe that Yehudah Hanasi is buried there?
I believe so, yes.
And even there's...
I believe he was buried here.
Yes. There's even evidence of his children.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Two of his sons. The son named Rabbi Shimon, one of his sons.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's so clear.
And I don't believe he was buried in this position.
Okay. Okay.
And here we have the other son, Gamaliel. And the inscription says in Hebrew, Zu Shel Rabbi Gamliel. This belongs to Rabbi Gamliel.
Wow, amazing.
And
this is more the style we would expect.
Yeah. This is how they block the niches, because it's almost completely blocked. So this is why I do not believe that the other son, Shimon,
because the style.
He would be buried in like this, in one like this one, or like this one.
Yes.
And this is the copy of the inscription. This belongs to
Rabbi Gamliel.
Right, and in Greek, of course.
Was it commonly for the guys like Gamliel, for example, he knew, you would imagine that he spoke Greek at the same time?
Why not? We know from the Talmud that the rabbi, the Chazal, didn't like the Greek as a language. But Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi had permission to study and speak Greek because he had to have good connection with the Roman authorities.
Sure.
So the family was fluent in Greek. Otherwise, there's no reason to put the
Greek.
To write the Greek. Yes. Another Jewish typical burial niche. By the way, you can see here this small recess. It's broken. This meant for candles.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's broken.
Like Nelson and Shammah, almost like.
No, when people need light to bury people here, I don't think it's an neshama.
Okay. So what do we have here?
Well, this is
a giant chamber we're in right now.
Yes. And what I've been told is that here, in this double burial position, lie the bodies of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi and his wife.
Now we know that Yehudah Hanasi moved to Tzipori, but it says in the Talmud that he prepared a burial.
He died in Tzipori and he was buried here. Well, I'm not sure that of all these family members, the most important family in the Israeli Jewish community, society, is buried in an open burial like this one, while his son is buried in a closed niche. But, well, and by the way, these walls around are modern, and you can see the wooden beam that hold it. Well, I believe he was buried in this tomb. I'm not convinced that he is buried right here in this spot.
Okay.
And just imagine that if someone came later once with a wish to be buried next to Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, and if this was the place, well, this one has a great zchut to be buried next, a privilege to be buried next to Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi.
Why would it look like that? Why would it mean this shape?
Well, this is not typically Jewish.
You need
I can tell
to
you.
clarify. You keep on using this term. This is not typically Jewish. What are you telling my audience?
Well,
you need to clarify this expression. This is not typically
we have the
Jewish.
perpendicular niches.
I understand.
We've seen a few.
I understand. But what does it mean?
That
What are you telling me?
I'm telling you that whoever had this spot for burial, you can see it's shallow. It's very shallow. Well, this...
With an arch.
Yeah. Well, the family of the dead who was buried here was not so deeply concerned about corpse defilement.
But that's Jewish halakha.
Yes, but if you believe that some certain Galilean guy was your Messiah, you cannot stand the idea that he was buried and he is rotten like everyone else. You got to give up the concept of corpse defilement, or give up your Messiah.
Do you think that that's one of the areas where Messianic Judaism and Pharisaic Judaism probably departed on? Departed on the core issue, of course, defilement.
No, they never departed.
Well, wait a second. I thought you said that since an arch is a Christian or early Messianic Jewish.
Early Messianic.
So there is some diversion.
Diversion, but not departure.
Not diversion.
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
Okay.
We know it from the Talmud and the Mishnah that the rabbis produced some handbook to identify the Messianic Jews. They were different for the rabbis.
Not for the people.
True.
Not enough for burial spots.
No.
Interesting. There's a strong evidence here of...
I would not call this strong evidence, but we have more places around here and in the Galilee and the Golan which show hard evidence.
Later on, I guess when I put it all together, there are other evidence pieces here that we'll see later on.
You have to put all the evidence on one sequence.
Got you. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. Maybe or maybe not Yehudah Hanasi was buried there.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we have been in the burial cave of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi. Interesting cave, nechmad, but I've not seen anything yet earth-shattering that make me go hoo-ha, although it's Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, which by itself is a hoo-ha.
Yeah.
So right now we are literally, 10 meters, 15 meters from Yehudah Hanasi, another cave.
Yeah, another tomb.
Now
it's a catacomb. It's not familial.
Catacomb. Okay, so what do we have here? There is some interesting evidence in this particular tomb, from what I understand from you. Is there anything?
I would call it markers.
Markers, okay.
Whether or not it's evidence, well, let's see.
Okay. Is the structure different?
Of course, because it's not familial.
It's not. What do you mean when you say not familiar?
Tombs belong to one family.
Tomb belong to a family, okay.
One family.
So that's the neighbors of Yehudah Hanasi.
Yes, and the tomb is public.
Okay. The daughter of Rabbi Gamliel, son of Nehemiah, who died a virgin. at the age of 22, and Etienne, the daughter of Rabbi Yehudah, son of Rabbi Gamliel, that died at the age of 9 and 6 months.
Which means this coffin had two bodies in.
Okay.
And just look at there. This is important. Why? Because you see a typical Jewish burial niche, right?
Yes.
Next to the entrance, which means it was in the earlier stage. You see what I mean?
No, I'm not following. Oh, because it's next to it. That was early building.
Of course.
This is the entrance. Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
And now this is a lobby. But you remember the Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi's tomb? There are no coffins, right?
That's right.
Here we have many of them, you can see.
That's a coffin, actual coffins.
Sarcophagus. Because these people, the families of these people, did not own the tomb. They just hired a spot. And you do not evacuate, collect the bones from these coffins. You just keep them in. Which means the family which brought this coffin here with the names never meant...
Let me see the Hebrew. That's in Hebrew, right?
Yes, of course, it's Hebrew.
Can it...
זה בדיוק מה שכתוב שם.
I just want...
בוא, אני אראה לך את זה יותר טוב.
Yes.
כשהאור פחות ממוקד רואים יותר טוב.
Yes. Difficult to read.
Yeah, we have it here.
Okay.
Well, the relatives of these two girls never meant to collect the bones or to evacuate the bones to other place. When you bury someone, you have a headrest here. We know what the head was.
Okay.
When you bury someone in this kind of coffin, you do not collect the bones. Now we have here dozens of sarcophagus.
Wow.
Many of them.
Wow.
Only a few are decorated. And let me surprise you. You see the altar-like leads. They look like altars.
I don't see.
המכסים, נראים כמו,
Like
כמו מזבח.
Yes.
אתה רואה את זה?
Why would it be?
I don't know. Is it typically Jewish? You see the arches? Well, no. It's typical here. Because when people bring their dead from other places, not in Israel, all across the Mediterranean, they got to have something to put the body in and transfer it from one place to another. This is why they are buried in sarcophagus. Decorations. This is allowed to Jews, of course, this kind of decoration, because it's not figurative. The same allowed sort of burial art here. It's completely kosher.
There's no halachic issues with the
No. This is This is the same kosher decoration. Geometrical forms. And a dead snake. And what the robbers did, now I'm going to surprise you. We have an animal here. What is this animal?
It looks like a pig.
What do you think?
No.
A pig?
Wolf.
Wolf. What do you say?
Wolf, yeah.
It's a wild boar.
I guess so. In a Jewish tomb.
Crazy.
Why there's
So-
a chazir?
I believe it's a pig.
The return of the kosher pig?
You-
Did
yeah.
they even have
And there is another animal here. Here. A goat or a deer. Here. And if you look well, I have a good picture I took here. The hunter is here. Here is, the hunter is here. I know it's hard to see. Just a minute. Sorry. You see the large animal? You see the smaller animal here. And, here is the hunter. He's holding a bow. And this is the arrow.
Yes, I see it. I see it clearly.
Yeah. I believe that such a sin is so not Jewish.
Yeah, what?
Whether it's a pig or a wolf, to me it looks like a pig.
To me too.
Well, what Jew, they say it's, the sarcophagi of the hunter. Okay. I can't believe that a regular Jew, a rabbinic Jew, would have a pig on his own coffin.
That's stunning.
Doesn't make sense. Who else, if not a rabbinic Jew, not a Christian Jew? Of course not. So who? Maybe we have some goyim here.
By Jewish law, a goy cannot be buried in a Jewish...
By Jewish law, you cannot have a pig on your coffin.
I don't know. You got me on that one.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's a Christian, Messianic Jew.
That's a difficult one for me.
But it's here.
Do you have
And-
any theory, anything you can shed light?
Whether it's a pig or a wolf, it makes no difference. It's not Jewish.
You can't have
And you're inside, everybody needs to understand, we're inside a Jewish burial tomb.
Should be, yeah. Well, but now I'm going to surprise you. You see the decorations? All are formative decorations, right? Geometrical. Leaves, grape, blah, blah, blah. Hearts, here. See the hearts?
Yes.
It's legitimate. Some kind of vegetable, I don't know. And this, a jar.
Jar, I see it.
And you see this. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
This one is very, very clear. This one is very, very clear.
What's it?
Slav?
Oh, I see the cross.
Yes, it's a cross.
Oh my gosh, right here.
And this one as well. And the third one.
Yes.
This is a cross.
This
And if this should be a very common Jewish decoration, Jewish funerary decoration, we would have more of these because it's formative, should be allowed.
Wow, wow, wow.
And we have only one this explicit cross.
That's a clear cross though.
Yeah.
What is it telling us? a Messianic Jew?
I leave it open. And you have the lions here. Well, 2 lions, but still lions. We've seen some lions down there. So, some Jews did, as you can see. How could the owner of this tomb with the family of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, how could they allow this to be here? And the pig or wolf or whatever.
Much later, they sold it.
But if you're coming from somewhere else in the Mediterranean and you're a Jew and you want your mother or father to be buried here next to Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, you have to pay the owners. Don't they look at the forms you bring in? This is not allowed in Judaism. It's very clear. Lo ta'aseh lechapes elu tmuna. It's so clear, but it's here. I don't have any clue to explain it, and saying that it's a mix of Jewish and Roman or Greek culture. So why don't we have so much more of these on other sarcophagi? I don't know. I don't buy it. By the way,
We need a light.
Get closer. Yeah, now you can see them. Back up a little bit.
but I still owe you the fish, right?
Yes.
You will see them.
Okay.
You're hungry. Light,
What's that?
eagle,
Eagle.
a bull or cow.
Again, this is not allowed.
No. And this is the reason that some say that it's Roman influence, because the Roman had the main symbol was eagle. Cows, bulls, and 2 lions devour a bull.
Wow, wow, wow.
Ruby's very Hellenized too.
An entire herd of cows or bulls.
But they're still considered Jewish because they are here.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
It's nonsense. The fact that something is somewhere doesn't make this something belong to this somewhere. This is considered Jewish because, as you said, it's here. But if I take this one to somewhere in Lebanon, it was not Jewish, right? So, if it's the same object, it cannot be both Jewish and non-Jewish.
Yes, indeed.
Eagles. You said that lion was a symbol, at least for some Jews, okay? But what was the eagle? The symbol of what Jew? No.
No. For a Jew, I was thinking about the verse, carry you on eagle wings.
Okay. But it never became, it did not become a Jewish symbol. While lions did. So, following the theory of explanations of other symbols, could this coffin be the coffin of a shepherd? Cattle owner? I don't think so. You guys know who the goddess, the Greek goddess Nike is? The goddess of victory. We have 2 Nikes here. One and 2. A Jew with 2 Greek goddess on his coffin.
Real Avodah Zarah.
Complete Avodah. The symbol of Avodah Zarah. Okay?
Can't be angels, can't be some
It makes no sense if you say it's Jewish. It's crazy. But it's here. I wouldn't say this is Christian Jewish, Messianic Jewish. And after all these, we have this one, this large one, Menorah.
Oh my goodness.
עוד יש דגים בדרך. זה 6. No doubt it's a menorah. No doubt. But let me remind you, this is the most sacred place, sacred object in the temple, which is the Holy of Holies. And to apply this in the most defiled space, it makes no sense. Anyway, if everybody here was a Jew, just think, if everybody here was a Jew, why should some Jews say so loud, we are Jews? Everybody knows everybody here.
Why do you need this Jewish symbol?
It is a Jewish symbol. From when?
in the second temple.
From when? It's not a Jewish symbol in the Hebrew Bible. It's not a Jewish symbol even in rabbinic literature. Never. The earliest one we know, the earliest menorah we know that might be a symbol of Jews is Untitled Arch in Rome. And just consider that if this tomb was built to serve the burial needs of many Jews, after Rabbi Yehudah died, and he died around 220, how long was the process of cutting this tomb up to this point? It took many, many, many years, which means, I think, decades. Decades after Rabbi Yehudah, someone applied this to represent his identity. It's not in Rabbi Yehudah's time. It's much later.
Wow.
So
This is, you're saying, much later than Yehudah Hanasi.
of course,
At least what, a couple hundred years, 200 years?
could be, at least decades.
Okay.
As it takes time to cut this catacomb
Sure.
to this point. They didn't have machines.
Somebody wants to sound Jewish.
Yeah.
I'm also Jewish. Whatever you say, I'm a Jew. This is it. Otherwise, there is no reason why there is no menorah in Rabbi Yehudah's tomb. Because no one
need to say he's Jewish.
doubted his Jewishness, okay? But this is my theory, that when someone is doubting your Jewishness, you need this. Well,
Wow.
we still have, I promised you something, right?
Yeah.
מהצד. This birds, you see?
2 birds.
4 birds.
4 birds, yeah.
Oh, 4 birds, yeah?
Yeah. But I promised fish, right? Highly decorated. More birds, lions,
Is that an eagle again?
a representation of the temple here and here.
Is that an eagle?
A representation of the temple with an eagle.
What is it?
What does eagle have to do with the temple? and a lion. We've seen these. Now, as promised, Itzhak,
Oh my.
fish. 1, 2, 3, 4,
And 2 lions.
and lions and birds and other fish. It's a fish, yes. No, this is a deer. And the lions eat it. But you can see the fish. I guess birds. Yes, these are birds. But these are no doubt fish.
Get closer, you get it, Daniel.
Can you see? Oh, let me see. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can see. It's kind of. Now it's too bright. There we go.
Or from this angle? No, this one is better.
Yeah.
So what's your theory here?
Well, you've done?
Yeah.
Okay. My theory. Can you hold it on my face?
And hold that.
Well, we have 3 instances of fish in the Gospels. One is when Jesus tells the disciples, you will go fish for people, right?
Right.
The other is the miracle of 2 loaves and 5 fish, or the other. Yeah. I think the crucial one is that when the disciples or the Pharisees asked for a sign, Jesus said, this generation is a generation of sinners. It will not have a sign but the sign of Jonah, for as Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights, so will the Son of Man be in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, and will come back to life. The fish is the most clear and ancient symbol of resurrection.
Yeah.
Not the miracle in Tabcha. And if fish was a very common symbol in Jewish funerary art, we would have more fish on coffins. We have hundreds of coffins here. But only this one has fish on it. Well, could this guy, the dead man here or woman, be a Messianic Jew? It's possible. But I believe the person inside here was a Messianic Jew. And this is, well, one would say, do you believe that Messianic Jews broke the ban on figurative art? I believe they did. I believe they did. Because if they wanted to mark themselves as different, they had to do something. The Menorah is one thing, these are different, but still I believe this marks a different Judaism.
That's pretty amazing. That's incredible.
And I still ask myself, why we don't see so many tourists here? I don't know.
Maybe after this.
Because
No answer.
people are coming in and out and they're not looking for the fine details.
You know, I've been here once with my friend, and a group of Argentinian tourists got in and walked after me, and they were amazed of what they saw here. But the guide was standing up there, and he didn't want to get closer. And I asked him, please come here. He said, no, I know what's there. I know what's there. Said, they asked him, and he said, it's not important. But the Argentinians, about 30 people, stood here one-on-one, because the place is narrow, and said, it is important. And I believe it is.
Incredible, incredible. We're about to head in a minute to the southern area to see evidence that is even more overwhelming than this. You put all those pieces together, and
Yeah.
the evidence is fairly strong. When you put the pieces.
Yes. It cannot be dismissed easily, okay?
But if this is true, you have a Messianic Jew who is a Jew, but is not adhering fully to the Jewish law as we would interpret it. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. He is not under the authority of the rabbis.
But he's still living as a Jew because he's very
Yes.
Jewish. And he's
Yes, he went to the
recognized
mikveh.
and he's recognized as a Jew.
Yeah. And the church fathers recognized him as a Jew. This is what they said about the Messianic Jews. That in fact they are Jews.
Yes. Incredible, friends. This is incredible discoveries here. I hope you're blessed. We're continuing now as we're going together with Eldad and Yael. We're going to go to the southern area. I hope you will be blessed. This is just the introduction. Shalom, Chavarim. This is Rabbi Itzhak Shapira, Ahavat Ammi. We have today not one, but we have two with us. We have Yael, who is part of the staff here in this park, and Eldad Keynan, of course, with us. So today we're going to learn. Now we are in the southern area, right?
Yeah.
Southern area. This is an area that is actually not open to the public, but because of the goodness of Hashem and some pushing by us, we're able to see today things that are not open. If you're interested in this teaching, again, I tell you, you must come to those places. We'll just give you a taste today. If you come, we will make the address available for you. Come and look up for Yael, and Eldad is available, and they will take you here for a lifetime journey. It will help you to really connect to this place. So, Yael, thank you for being. Maybe you can give us a little bit. We're in the southern part now. First of all, why is it not open for public?
It's a problem because we haven't got a lot of people to stay here all the time, and unfortunately there is a lot of vandalism. And it's not so safe. Yeah. People are going to places that are not allowed and enter.
It's a shame.
And it's really a shame, but you know, it's very fragile what we have here, because we have the original painting 1,800 years ago. The original painting in black and in red. This is the color that stays. Maybe there were more, but the color that still we can see them. It's black and red. And people just, maybe not intention, but they touch it and it's rain. And
I close my eyes and I try to envision it 1,800 years ago, this place.
Yeah.
Give me a picture to the people. What was it like here 1,800 years ago?
Okay, unfortunately, again, there is no person.
No, you don't
I know.
But I want to ask you, he moved his Bet Midrash here, yes?
Yes.
It was not just his burial. There was a Bet Midrash here, all the Bet Midrash. He picked a prime spot.
Welcome to Bet She'arim. Now, you have to understand that Bet She'arim, before Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi came here, was just a small village in a periphery. It
Nothing.
didn't count any much. But when Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi became to be the head of the Sanhedrin, he was really good in relationship with the Romans. So he got a lot of presents, and part of the presents that he got was very rich lands that was all around here.
Yeah.
You can watch afterwards and you see all the grain. Look at this land. Amazing land. Very rich land.
It's good for agriculture.
Exactly. So Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi has all this land here, and he has the Sanhedrin that was in Shfar'am. It was far away, and he said, hey, I don't like to travel so much. Maybe I'll bring my home here to Bet She'arim. Maybe my home will be here, and maybe the Sanhedrin will come here too. So, in the year of 170, something like that, the Sanhedrin came here. And you know, the Sanhedrin, the 17 plus smart people, all the judges and all the people that solve all the problems of if someone far away had a problem, had to come here. And a lot of action began. So this village that was only a few hundred people, maybe a couple of dozens of people, became to be like 4,000, 5,000 people in this village, in this area.
Wow.
Now, the Sanhedrin was here. Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi was here, and he was getting old. He didn't feel so right, so it was very common that when a man become older, he start to build his grave. And it's not just a grave; it's like you dig. The tomb. You dig a tomb, and you have workers. It's not one day. It's like few years to dig this, and you have to see that everything is all right, and it's very important. So you start to dig it. Now, in the last years of Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, the doctors told him, you know what?
What year, according to Jewish tradition, he died then? By chance?
Around 220.
200, around 200. Around 200.
When he closed the Mishnah was
around 200, before. But before, in the last year, in the last 17 years of his life, the doctors told him, you know, the area is a little bit heavy. Maybe you'll go to Tzipori. Live in Tzipori. It's better for your health. So he moved to Tzipori. But it's cold. Because of his health. But it's written that Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi lived in Tzipori, but there was a place ready for him in Bet Sharim.
It says in a tractate. It says that.
Yeah, and when he died, it's written all the way that they went from Tzipori to Bet Sharim, and he died in Friday, and the sun stand, and the Saturday didn't come until everyone got to their places. So it was amazing. Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi,
amazing,
and the Mishnah and everything. We'll talk about it, but he died and he was buried here. And as you told before, because there was a lot of people all around the near world, that want to be buried in Israel. They want to be buried in Jerusalem, but they couldn't. They couldn't because Jerusalem was blocked. The Roman says no allowed to Jews to come into Jerusalem to Ilia Capitolina. No allowed to come to Jerusalem to be buried there. So they said, okay, what is the second best place? And they said, if Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi is buried in Bet Sharim, we can be buried near to him, next to him. Wow. And it's amazing because there were a lot of people that were coming here. Each very important people or men that could afford financially to be buried here came to be buried. The same people they haven't got the money. It costs a lot of money.
Nothing changed in 2,000 years, you say. Wow, so this is a prime, becoming very quickly a prime real estate.
Wow, very much. So we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I want to show you a few unique stuff that you can see here, because the people that were buried had money and want to make their grave nice. So let's see some.
Friends, this is live exclusive Ahavat Ammi. If you are Jew or Christian, this is a piece of history. You are not just talking about history, we are touching history in the most tangible and unique way. Kadima, let's go touch and feel and smell history. By the way, the area feel abnormally clean.
Yeah.
It feels wonderful.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know if you can see the they have the carob, the charuvim, the carob trees. So where are we now?
Now see, there is few, you see up over there, like this one floor, second floor, and there is like 4 floors all around. It's like a huge place with a lot of places.
Is that the houses? Is that the housing area?
Houses for the dead.
This is a burial.
This is a burial. All what you see is an Acropolis. It's all the tombs. Okay, we now very comfortable. Now there was a big earthquake. So there is a lot of things that ring. But see here on the left, you see the menorah over there in the left.
Wow! Look at that. Very Jewish.
And you see there the stairs. You see the stairs that they went up and then went inside. Okay, you see.
So this is a burial compound.
Yeah, yeah.
How many people are
And you see over there?
buried here? Do we have an estimation?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So
Wow, wow, wow.
yeah,
Look at
the
that.
exact. Yeah, you see.
Danielle, come. You stay
Over
with
here.
us so you can show them. Look at this inside. Incredible.
Now you can see down floor. You see, this, and everything was closed with a door that was made from stone. Okay. Now this is a very unique thing. Look inside over there. Yeah.
Bring some lights to this. Bring some.
You see inside there is a man riding on a horse.
Wow.
Amazing.
You don't get it, Daniel. Move
Yeah.
to the left. Move smaller.
And
Give it to me. I'll see later.
Is it that? I can't tell.
Let me do this just for a second. Oh, try to catch it. Just a second, we want to catch this. I don't know if, here we go, I got it. Here, you got it?
Wow.
Why? This is, yeah, we can right now. It's a man riding on a horse.
Yeah.
What is this? Mazeh?
sword.
What is
No, it's a man riding on a horse. That's what it is.
Why would they put this something like
Ah,
this?
that's a big question, you know. And as I said before, unfortunately, there is not one person that stayed from that period of time to tell us what exactly happened. But we can guess. And we can guess that maybe the man that was buried here was a rider. Maybe the man that was buried here had a lot of horses. We don't know. But again, everyone can guess. Now, I want to show you another thing. You know that the people that was buried here was very, very rich, okay? And usually the Jews are not allowed to be buried with a lot of with jewelries or with things that have a lot of value. But all the graves here
Yes.
were robbed. Everything. Each grave, you can see the damage and the rob. And you can see that most of the thieves enter these tombs from the upper area. You see over there?
Did you say rob Lignov?
Lignov, Ken.
What did they rob there?
Ah, now nothing stayed. We don't know. So there are people that they say there was nothing, but I think there is no smoke if there is no fire. So it's like, you know, if everything was be damaged and thieves try to enter inside, maybe there was something that was worth entering, okay? So there were a lot of thieves, and all the thieves enter from the upper area.
Oh, interesting.
Now I want to explain how they did that. Do you want to hear?
Yes.
Okay. So as you see, we have a door here. This door, okay, made from stone, okay? It's door from stone. It's a small door.
Yes.
Now, there is one piece of door, one piece of stone with a little, okay, with a little, how do you say? Bulging from beneath and a bulging from up, okay? Now, to put it inside here, you have to do a hole down, so you put the door down, and then you need to have a stone above, okay, with a hole inside. And to put the stone above, you have to put the stone up and then to put it down.
Gotcha.
And because of that, the upper area was only with small stones. And the thieves knew it, and they broke the upper area in each place and went inside. Now, after they went inside, they start knocking at the walls. And when they saw that there is hollow in the wall, they dig in the hole and went to another room, and another room, and another room. And if you enter inside these places, you can go from one room to another, from one room to another.
It's a maze.
Like a maze, yeah. let's continue and see something else.
Okay, okay, very good.
מה יש למעלה שם, אותו דבר? כן, מדהים.
Incredible,
We'll go.
Yael,
Yeah.
how do we explain that Jews made some figurative art in a tomb?
Now I was about to ask.
Now.
They were not allowed to buy the
To
Torah.
buy the Torah, yeah. Now, as we said, there is a lot of things that it's a very, very unique question, because it's not that they made Masecha, okay? It's not that there is places that you see the Nike. You know the Nike? And there is places that you see the mask of Zeus.
I know.
So why
explain
do
this?
they do that? Yeah, it's a very unique, it's a very important question, because in that time,
Wow.
the people that was buried here, who was they? They were very, very rich people.
So, Hellenized?
And we're talking about the year of 200, 250,
Yeah.
300, okay? When was the period that they said not do any mass, not do? It was a period that the rabbis were afraid that the people will believe in statues, okay? But when we are getting to the year of 200, 250, 300, the belief in statues is passed away a little bit, okay? And most of the area was with another religion, with the Christians that began to arose. So the people, the rich people that was buried here and were Jews, first of all, they thought about all these statues and all as a decoration, not a threat for their Judaism. This is the first. The second is that remember that these people were very, very rich. So how did they get their money? They got their money because they were socialized with the Romans. The doctor of the Romans and the architect of the Romans and the people that was in the Roman. And if they were socialized with the Romans and got the money from them with the big merchants and a lot of, so the culture mix. The Romans came to their houses, and then they went to the. So you can't invite Roman to your house without have the table that you and the pictures and all the decorations. So culture mix, and it came to the religion too, and that's why I think maybe they were buried with some. With jewelries, maybe, because they were valuable things, and they decorate their graves from the same reason. It's like, okay, that's what I think.
And this place called why? I got
Gehenna.
Ma'arat Gehenom,
Yeah.
the tomb of hell.
The tomb of hell, yeah, Gehenna.
Gehenom, so
Yeah.
let's see what we have here.
Now again, let's stand a little bit from here. We have to understand that we're talking about history that was like 1800 years ago. It's a long, long time ago, but we need to use our imagination to understand that this tomb was a very, very expensive one, very unique. Because you see this ark, okay? It was a big ark, and you see this area in front of it, so it's like a big place with like sitting area or stairs here, right here in the right, okay?
Why would you have a sitting area by a tomb?
Because maybe people want to, maybe there was like once in a year they came and sit here and learn stuff or just gather together to do stuff. Maybe it was part of the ceremony.
Wait, this is a burial cave too?
Yep. Everything that we're going to see today are burial caves. Okay, just come here. So just imagine we're entering this amazing place with this huge entrance, okay?
Wow.
Now imagine that here, after the small courtyard, there are two doors.
Okay.
Now there was an earth crack, okay, over here, so everything fell down. And as I believe you've been told before, all this stone is a very soft stone. So each time that there is rain or wind or someone touching it, a little bit of the history passed away, okay? So let's go a little bit inside and see what we have.
Breadth of this thing.
Yeah.
You still
Yeah.
didn't tell us why the gate called the cave called.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. But not on the... Now, if you can just
wait
move
for
a
it.
little bit. Move,
careful.
yeah.
Honey,
And
you
you
need
see,
to come. Hang on,
yeah.
wait for Daniel.
And see, this is original,
Daniel, stay with us. Keep
You
up
see?
with us, man.
okay? This is the original boats, okay? That was carved here
Daniel.
on the clay over here. You see here too. You see over here and
Mazel?
over here. There are boats.
Oh, boats.
Now, maybe it was part of the story how the bodies came here. Maybe maybe all of this wall was like a description of their way from home to here. Because people that was buried here came long way from a lot of
So
places.
are you saying that the people who are buried here, they're not necessarily were sitting locals?
No, most of the people were not local. Most of the people came from, the ranges like from Yemen to Syria.
Wow.
So people came here like from far away, people that were outside Israel and wanted to be buried in Israel, near to Jerusalem, okay? And there are very rich people or very important rabbis that lived far away and wanted to be buried here. So they came with boats, part of them, yeah? So here are the boats. Now, you see this sky?
Yes.
Unfortunately, because of the rain, you see this area?
Yes.
Like a few years ago, everything was like this. Now it just damaged and damaged and damaged.
From the rain?
From the rain, yeah.
So you can imagine if that's happening in a short amount of time,
Yeah.
imagine 1800
Yeah,
years.
yeah. How beautiful it was like
Yeah.
1800 years ago. Yeah.
wow.
And everything with colors and everything. I don't know. What do you think?
Just a decoration.
Just a decoration.
But this one is a legitimate Jewish
תתקרב שאתה
decoration.
מדבר,
Yeah.
שישמעו אותך.
Yeah.
Because it's not figurative. This is just geometrical. This is why Jews are allowed to do this. And the boats. But the horse and the man, and we'll see more here.
Yeah, of course.
This is not
Are-
pesel
In a
v'masecha.
question. Yeah. Yeah.
This is not against the.
Geometrical shapes, yes.
It's only geometrical. It's not
Yeah.
figurative.
Yes.
Jews are allowed to do this. And the boat.
And the boat. Now, if we, sorry?
But when it comes to the horse and human figures and the diver
Yeah.
and the gladiator, well, I just
you're
think that
not on it.
something in the Jewish culture have changed to allow for this to be applied. And it's not only Roman influence. Sorry,
No.
I have my opinion. And I know who taught you. I just
You know
the
my
people.
teachers, yeah.
Yeah. This explanation might be good for some or another point, but it cannot explain all the figures we see everywhere. We've been in the Galilee. We've seen things, and I believe that there is what allowed Jews to apply figurative art is an inside matter. It's not under the influence of Romans or others because we have Roman and Greek influence.
Yeah. From the beginning, yeah.
Much earlier than this time,
period of time, yeah.
and still Jews did it. And there is a reason.
Yeah, amazing. You know, the Jews, even it was written all over time that the Jews are not like one cut. It's like all the time, it's like 10, 15, 20, 30
Sects.
Yeah, it says like if you have 2 Jews in one room, you have 3 ideas. Even so, yeah, so it's like, it sounds perfect. It's like, it's really reasonable to have it like this because this is part of what they've been
Being
there.
a Jewish back then,
Yeah.
a Jew, means that you might be one sort of Jew, and there is another sort of Jew.
For sure.
And probably other 200.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely.
A huge harmony of Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end. And this is why we have so many parties running for the Knesset now.
Wait, is that where we got the Israeli salad from?
Yeah.
Is that where Israeli salad came from?
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
2nd century?
All
Salad
combined.
Israeli,
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as you see all of this upper area is broken because about the year of 350 there was a big earth crack here in
363. 363.
363, okay? It was like a big earthquake, so everything was ruined. And this is one of the places that stayed open because maybe we'll talk about it later, but this place was deserted. Deserted because of the earthquake of the Galilee rebellion. But in
so
time,
until the earthquake, this is a prosperous area. Yes.
Yeah.
The earthquake, everything taken out.
More or less, this is the rebellion. But after this area was deserted, all what we saw was with the rain and everything was full with mud. And imagine, like year after year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, year after year, everything was full up with mud, okay? And always was buried, everything. But this particular place stayed open because of the earthquake. So the Bedouins, the local people around here, when it was rain, went inside with their goats. And when it was too hot, they went inside with their goats and with sheep, okay? Now, when they went inside, as you see here, there is a lot of dirt over here, and all with goat shits and a lot of stuff that belongs. And you see there is black walls because there were fires here, okay, to get more heat or to make a coffee, okay, Bedouin coffee, black coffee. But when they were inside, they saw very strange things on the walls. You see these places? So they say, okay, it's a very good place, practical place to be hidden from the rain and sun, but it's like part of the Gehenna, part of the hell. So they call this place the Gehenna place, like the hell. How do you call it before?
Yeah, Gehenna.
The hell, yeah. So that's why this place called the Gehenna.
Well, I want to add something.
Yeah.
Cut it, please.
No, just a minute, here.
No, but be closer to yours so they can pick you the
No problem. As you can see here, we have typical Jewish niches.
Yes.
And this is the earlier stage of the tomb.
Yes.
You can see here, more on the lower floor, typical Jewish niches, right?
Yes, but the upper?
The upper are not. But when you enter inside to the later part of the tomb, you can see arches. And we know that these niches were first, and the arches was second, were later. And you remember we talked about the drastic change in the religion that allowed the arches.
Sure.
Well, this is what we see here, and in the other tombs.
So are you thinking that potentially this is early Christians?
I'm not sure, but because we have an arch here, but the niches inside are typically Jewish.
Follow him.
You can see them.
And you need to be near him.
We have the arch, but inside typical Jewish niches.
Okay.
So there is an influence. I'm not sure. These were burials, of course. I'm broken now. And we have a large arch here and arches inside. And remember, as long as you go deeper, you are walking later in history.
Sure.
So I believe that this religious change that allowed Jews to cut arches. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'll see more of this later.
Yes. So, Chaverim, we are here with Yael, who has been so fantastic to teach us with Eldad Keynan. Here's what we learned so far. We have seen 2 burial tombs so far. The last one we so-called the
Too complex.
too complex.
It's too complex.
Yeah,
It's
more
like
than 2 tombs.
kind of neighborhoods of
neighborhood.
a lot
Yeah.
of graves inside.
We understood that also there's been a major earthquake here in the mid-4th century
Yes,
that took
yes.
place here. We also saw something very unique, and if I can recap the theory of Eldad, come, I just don't want to recite something inaccurate, but we have seen 2 types of niches here.
Yeah.
One of them is the standard traditional Jewish
Niche.
kind of niche that is
Perpendicular to the wall.
perpendicular to the wall.
Yeah.
And the other one is one that have
The
the
arch.
keshet with the arch, which is something
parallel to the wall.
Yeah, and those are really introduced, according to experts, Jewish experts, in the middle of the first century.
Yeah.
The only event that took place in the very first century that can have this change is the burial of Jesus, Yeshua, and there is on the cross the birth of early Christianity, Messianic Judaism, and we see a potential. We cannot say for 100% certainty, but we see a potential of those 2 type of tombs side by side. And like you say, today obviously Judaism and Christianity is quite different, got separated. But maybe if you go back to the 1st and 2nd century,
Relevant times.
this is not so subtle as the changes that we see
No.
today,
Let me
2000.
explain this
Yeah,
way.
yes,
The typical Jewish niche
yeah,
is the structure of this niche is dictated by religious concept to conceal the defilement. You need a drastic religious change
or
to
something.
change the structure, because the second
Because
the
a burial tomb is related to a religious hashkafa.
right concept. As long as you are so afraid of corpse defilement, you must have a burial practice which allows you to conceal the defilement. But when you are not afraid of corpse defilement anymore, you allow yourself to have the arches, which are not so easy to be concealed. And the only change we know that took place in the mid-1st century in Jerusalem was Jesus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense to me. It's connecting a lot of dots. The notion that would be early Christians, even living among Jewish people who live Jewish life, it's not a foreign concept.
You talk about minim.
It's
No,
like
yes.
Messianic
was,
Jews were
yes.
minim by the rabbis.
Yes, but even Birkat Aminim, that came, let's say 90 AD, Shmuel Katan.
Yes, it's around 100.
Yeah, so
100 CE.
yeah, exactly. As I said, PC, I meant C. Excuse me. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
90, 100, correct.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So look, we are continuing this, but I want everybody just to understand that here in the middle of nowhere, it's almost too difficult to understand that all the Gdolei Torah sat here and did the psikot and the dinim for the Jewish people. It's chilling thought. I would think, Yael, that this would be much more visited place.
Should be.
Should be, yes.
maybe after this film.
Maybe after this film.
We should talk to the drivers and guides.
Okay.
Yes. But friends, if you are blessed by this, I want you to like it and share it. And if you come here, look up for Yael and bring Eldad along. It's going to be a very adventurous time. So Yael, what is next on our agenda? What else?
Let's go. We're going to see some unique stuff here in the tombs. And again, it's the stuff that people made. Like we're going down to another set of tombs.
Daniel, show them a little bit of the
In
beauty.
tomb,
Yeah. One more point is a point of recap that I think we brought. There's been, just for those who are just tuning in and catching this broadcast, we have seen in one of the compounds, we've seen a man on a horse. And the question among the experts here, why would be such a figure?
Yeah.
And I think the conclusion, if I may recap it, that you all came together is, although they've been Jewish, and we haven't seen the boat, and we've seen the geometry, they came from a different background. There is
Yeah.
no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Different
But they all
places.
have a kamiyah, they all wanted to be buried here because of connection
to
to
Rabbi
the
Yehudah Hanasi.
Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi and connection. They could not, you mentioned, could not really, Yerushalayim was blocked, so
Yeah.
that would be the second best place. But we also learned something that has been, coming back to your point, there's been an influence of other things,
Concepts, yeah.
Hellenized Jews, the Roman, even going to Greeks. You even mentioned that there's
Yeah.
been many influences. So we have to understand this.
Yes.
There
Well-
was not such a concept even in the 2nd century.
Judaism was never
Not
completely closed.
It was not homogenized Judaism.
No.
Where they all even came here buried. They look the same, smell the same. You had a different type of Jews. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Okay, this is very important to
And
understand.
soon we'll have to, we can see it because, in this area, there's a lot of menorahs. How do you say menorah?
Menorahs.
So there's a lot of menorah, and there is a big question, a huge question. Why dozens of menorah exist here in these tombs, but
Interesting.
not in the tombs near Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi?
There is one large.
Only one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about dozens.
And let
Okay.
me ask another question.
Okay.
A menorah is the most sacred, holy artifact in the temple.
Wow.
Yes. The Chazal, the rabbi said, the menorah is Kedusha Misha'ah Rishonah, from the time it was made, produced. The menorah never had to be
To be inside Bet Villa,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
go to...
yeah,
to be pure, because
Because it's purified already.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So how can Jews apply
Menorah in
the most sacred artifact
in
In the most
defined
defined.
space? How can do it?
yeah.
How could Jews do it?
A lot of unsolved questions. So
What?
maybe we can clear some of
I
them,
hope
but
you
not
there,
all.
Dad, if you're sitting,
Yeah.
if you're watching. I'm
First,
just a
we
fly in the
agree-
wall here. I don't even know
Just
what
a
I'm
minute.
doing here.
We
even.
agree on the question. It's the most sacred artifact in the
Completely.
most defiled space.
No, that's I never thought about that.
We talked about it.
Yeah, but I forgot.
In the tomb in the Galilee,
Yes.
You remember?
Yes, I remember now,
Yeah.
but
there is one Professor Rahman, Professor Rahmani tried to give an answer. First he asked, how could this, I have it in written stuff, how could Jews apply the menorah in the most defiled space?
Yes.
Then he tries to answer. He says that maybe, just maybe in Jerusalem, we have some menorahs in tombs. Maybe the owner were Cohens, priests. But I think that of all the Jews, the priests are the most busy with being purified, being pure. They wouldn't put the menorah in their
inside.
tomb.
Yeah.
So maybe there is another question. And the solution might be that some Jews just wiped out the corpse defilement concept. And they had
Amazing.
a very good reason in mid-1st century Jerusalem.
that's
Amazing.
again coming back to this very.
This is my explanation, because all the other explanations leave something open. Something is doubted.
I can add something for myself.
Okay.
I think you're really correct. But I think from my just observing, I see like those places that with no menorah at all, and I think to myself, okay, these Jews were very confident in their Judaism. It's like we don't have to prove anything to no one. Okay, just a minute,
Wow,
just a
that's-
minute.
that's a good
now,
point.
now,
like
because
that.
everyone knows Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi was a Jew. Everyone knows the rabbi near Yehudah. So
we all are Jews.
so we don't have to prove. We don't have to. But what happened to a person that walk in the street and says, "I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew, shouting. It's when someone else doesn't think he's so much a Jew. So I think that maybe the people that were buried here, not near Rabbi Yehudah Hanasi, but something outside the very expensive neighborhood.
I'm a Jew.
Jews, but slightly different.
Yeah, but they wanted to
I'm
show
gonna call this
to the
episode,
other
I am a
world
Jew.
and to the people that was buried here, we're Jew no matter what. So we are no question about it. So you see, we are Jew because there is a menorah here. And if you'll come like 1800 years later on, you'll see our menorah and you'll know that we are part of this community. We are part of the Judaism. So, okay, this is my just way of thinking.
I love it when
what I
that's
said.
going.
Completely. I'm just adding. So let's go inside and watch a little bit. It's like there was a lock here that went inside from we can close the door and there is a lock that go all the way through and no one could enter.
So the inmates cannot run out.
Yeah,
You put the light on it, Eldad?
on this.
Yeah.
You see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Now don't touch the walls, okay?
Okay.
Just don't touch the walls.
Wow.
It's very, very fragile what we have here. And by accident, you just, as I told you, it's very soft material. Yeah.
Don't touch.
יעל, לחזית בבקשה.
First question.
Yeah.
Where's I noticed it's look moist. זה כאילו יש על זה מים או...
Not, yeah, a little bit, you see, over here. Now we'll go, I'll show you later something that is amazing. But as I told you, it's a very, very soft rock. And all the water from the rain that was last week is just getting out through these walls, okay? Now, you see, this is the original color. And it's, yeah, this is the original red color. We have the red and the black that stays for these longs. And all of this, a lot of it is vandalism. It's not the original. But we have pictures of the original stuff that was here when the first archaeologists entered this tomb.
So sad that people come and vandalize these things.
Yeah.
It's angels.
It's sometimes, you know, it's just silly kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all the time. It's for something that someone is
Somebody
angry.
says in here, I'm Jewish. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes,
it's
but
not, you know, it's not only said, it's
I
shout.
do allow myself to apply the menorah, the sacred artifact, in the most defiled place.
Yeah, this is shocking. It's
Yeah.
This is not typically, it's not rabbinic Jewish.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's different, and it's
It's definitely different.
You remember the 5 branches menorah in the Golan Heights? And I told you, someone is trying to say, I'm a Jew, but slightly different.
completely.
Wow.
So eventually we agree on something.
In a place where, as you said, where everybody is a Jew, no one has to symbolize himself as a Jew. But in a place where everybody is Jewish, but some are slightly different, the people with a different life or concept or religion, slightly different, it's enough. We are all also Jews. We have it here.
Wow.
But we can use the arch.
You see,
We are not afraid of court defilement.
because this is not typical Jewish.
Of course, it's not.
I have a question.
You cannot ask me what's the question. I'll ask because
Okay, the question is, does it have anything to do with the fact that there was no longer a temple?
The fact that there was no longer a temple was very influential on the existence of the Sanhedrin, because the Sanhedrin drew its authority from the temple. But Jews buried their dead in tombs before the temple destruction and after. So I don't think the destruction influenced the Jewish burial practices.
I want everybody to see this. You have the menorah, and next to us you have the arch,
And not a typical Jewish burial.
Not a typical Jewish. The only explanation I can understand that this is like a Messianic Jewish or early Christian.
Yes. No. You know
I don't
what?
know.
Could be.
Could be
Early-
that
if-
this and this is in different
If you
time.
compare, no, it's
No, it was
No.
the
Probably
same
the same
time.
time.
The same time for completely.
probably the same time.
What other explanation can it be? Give me theories.
I don't have one. I have my own one, and you know it.
So do you believe that those were Jewish Christians who were buried?
Yes.
Some of them, for sure. The Christianity was part of Judaism in that time.
Christians
wasn't
would
so-
not be
To
allowed.
hear what it says, this is amazing for our audience. It will be,
And the menorah is another
it's
evidence.
inconceivable to think about those things. Think where is Christianity and Judaism today? This is unbelievable.
It was the beginning of the roots as well. It was
Wow, I
very
don't-
close.
You said correctly, Itzhak, that when you see the menorah, which is not allowed to Jews because it's sacred and the tomb is defiled, you see the menorah and this one together.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the fact it's next to each other. It
Yeah.
give me chills. It's chilling.
Now I want to show you there is a very nice example here on the stones on top of the place that they were burial. Yeah, okay?
Lama,
So
why
because
the stone is on top?
because stones keep the tuma inside. And you know
Stones
there is
do
a
not get, no, they're not, it cannot be contaminated with the defilement. But ceramic can.
Okay.
Stone conceal the defilement inside.
And you can see here too that we have like kind of war with the nature that penetrating all these places. You see up here and you see over here, there's a lot of fruits from the trees and the bushes upstairs, up in the upper area, and all the rain that went. So it's like all the time, it's like sometimes it's a problem. Nature against this place. It's part of the
Oh, it's a
ruin.
perfect example of decoration.
לא שומעים
Yeah,
אותך, לא
yeah,
שומעים
yeah.
אותך, תתקרב.
Yeah, okay.
רגע, תתקרבי אליו, תמיד כשאתה
Yeah.
מדבר, תתקרבי אליו.
We can see here another menorah, a 7 branches menorah, with 2 rosettes. The rosette is legitimate here for Jews because it's not figurative, it's geometrical. And the other one as well. But this is the representation of the most sacred artifact in Judaism, besides the Sefer Torah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And let's go inside. There is something amazing there that you can see.
And another one.
Yeah.
Wow, Daniel, look at this. And what's next to it? Is it an animal? Some animal?
Yeah. You see this? It's like a female lion.
It's a lion.
It's a lion. There is a lion going up here. And there is a human figure here.
Yeah.
And there is the menorah here.
Is it Menorah? סליחה.
Yeah.
It's like a lion.
Going up.
רגע, אני אעשה שיראו אותו טוב. הנה, עכשיו רואים אותו יותר טוב.
But listen, can I know, since you are all in the theory business,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw my own theory.
Just a minute, there is a human figurine here.
You see the human
Human
figure over
figure.
here? Over here.
Now, first of all, that would be disturbing. That is a little disturbing. Of
course.
But allow me to say something. רגע, a light on this. Menorah is a Jewish symbol. שנייה. Lion, in Judaism, the Lion of Judah,
Right.
is a picture of Mashiach. It's a picture, it's the name of the Messiah in Judaism. The Lion of Judah. Could it be? I'm not saying, but since you make your own theory, that they say, hey, we're Jewish, but we believe in the Lion of Judah for early Christians, which is the Messiah.
Could be.
I'm just
Amazing.
I'm going to say
can't
this
dismiss
is
it.
the way I understand
Yeah.
interpret it, because the Lion of Judah.
And the human figurine here.
Yeah.
I think it's
I don't know, but there
figure
is
is the
a
Lion of
figure
Judah.
over there, but I don't know. Can you guess what this is? This place?
מה זה?
Yeah.
מה זה?
I
What
don't
is
know.
this?
I'm asking the professional.
סליחה.
תאיר מהצד שתראה טוב.
There is some kind. It's not a statue. It cannot be like it's. If it's the temple, and there is a human here, and there is the menorah here.
You know what
is
I
it?
think it is?
What?
It says in the Torah that when, this is the way I understand this, because I saw the figure of this, it says that when Avraham Avinu sacrificed Yitzhak, it says he used ma'achelet.
Yeah.
This is a symbol of the iron is the ma'achelet because it's the sacrifice. Sacrifice
Something
of the.
happened. Wait.
לא טוב. It's the worst time in the world for this to happen. רגע, שנייה אחת. אני אגיד לך לפחות את ההבנה שלי.
It just happened.
אוי. דניאל,
זה קשור לאינטרנט?
לא, זה אין לי, לא קשור, כי אנחנו לא, דווקא אני ידעתי שלא יהיה לנו פה אינטרנט, אני רציתי פשוט, הנה. יופי. Continue, ממשיך. Continue. Listen to this. This is an interpretation of somebody that understands Messianic Judaism.
אתה ממש עם המעי על הקיר.
עוד. שנייה.
עדיף לא להישען, כי...
שנייה. אוקיי. Listen to this. It's a figure of a man, a figure of a man, a figure of a lion, and this ma'achelet, and there is a true symbol. Here is the way I understood it. It is the man. Yeshua, Jesus, was a man who had been sacrificed, ma'achelet, and he's truly the Lion of Judah, and we are Messianic Jews. This is me, and I'm saying this is my interpretation, but this is the way I understand it. Because there is a Jewish midrash, let me tell you something, that asks the question, why is it uses the word ma'achelet? Ma'achelet. Ma'achelet comes from the word le'echol, achila. It says this is going to be called the night of feeding for all of Israel for future generation. The merit, the zchut, come to Israel from this atonement. So this is perhaps one way to interpret this that will go Eldad with the theory of early Christians who were Jewish still. But again, I'm just...
אתה יכול להעיר על התקרה רגע?
כן.
Now this place is being with restoration, okay? It's like, it's not, this is the only place here that it's not the original one, but it was painted again, because all of this, repainted, because all of this ceiling was with a lot of roots and with a lot of...
and Yitzhak, look at the form of this decoration.
אולי תתני לו שנייה את המיקרופון או תתקרבי אליו, פשוט תתקרבי אליו.
זה בסדר.
לתפוס אותו, כן?
אנחנו תכף נצטרך להתחבק. Look at the form of this decoration. It's a cross.
איפה הקרוס?
מפה לפה ומפה לפה.
רגע, I don't see the cross, I'm sorry.
Okay, this is... Take the
Daniel, catch it good. Yes. Okay, I'm seeing.
On the ceiling.
This line
נכון.
and this line.
Oh, so you're saying this and this makes a cross?
Completely.
Yes.
Oh
Completely.
my gosh.
It's not a triangle.
No, I see this.
I would say it's like a hidden cross.
A hidden cross
Yes.
could be a hidden cross,
But
I can
it's
clearly see
really,
the cross.
really cross. Yes,
lion, please.
completely.
Why?
Another
See,
lion.
a lion.
Lion is Mashiach. There is no question about it.
Agreed.
Rabbi Yehudah, Lion of Judaism.
And note, this is the representation of the temple here.
But you see that
Is
this,
this like a choshen?
no,
It's a door.
but
Oh, it's a door.
this in this picture, it's in this place like the door is closed, and in this place it's like the door is open and there is a menorah. And in this place the lion is standing still,
then what you do
and
then?
the other place the lion is going up. Like when the menorah can be shown, when the door is open, the lion is going up.
And could it
Okay.
be,
So
so,
it's
now
like
let's theorize, could it be about what the Christians believe, the first coming and the second
Just a
coming?
minute. Before we consider this, a temple in a tomb.
It's
Yeah.
Oh.
And what's the meaning
The
of
temple is
Yeah.
holy. And the tomb is the opposite, complete opposite of holy.
But I think they want to leave a story. They wanted to leave us a story to stay forever in
Yes,
this place.
I
And it was
agree.
very important for them to say it, and that we can absorb it later after they are gone. And
Yes.
we do that. So it's like an open story that they left for us here.
What story? What's the story?
That God,
We are different?
That's the riddle. You know, it's like the story of their life, their story of their philosophy. It's like I said, maybe we don't know yet to read it completely and everyone can think what he
Yeah.
thinks, but there is a story here of a temple, of a lion, of someone that's going up,
Yes.
of this
like a-
Mustafa. It's like, yeah, so it's like,
The conscience. Anyway, but when Jews depict the temple, the most holy, the holy of holies,
and put it here, yeah,
in a tomb,
Yeah.
it's a complete opposite.
completely.
You must have changed something in your religious
Beliefs.
concept
Yeah, yeah.
to allow for this.
Yeah, completely. Now, I want to show you something.
but could it be, I'm telling you again, the way I interpret it also. Early Christians, they believe in the first coming and the second coming.
Yeah.
To me, it's a close and an open. There is a concept in Judaism. There is a pasuk in Yeshayahu. It says, "Yeled yulad lanu ben nitan lanu v'yikara shmo pele yoetz gibora v'yatzar shalom." Why is it important? It's the only place in the Tanakh where we see the letter Mem close in the middle of the word.
Wow.
It's called in Hebrew Mem Sluma. Let me show you some. Why is it important? In Judaism, if you take the letter Mem, I want you to notice this is like a letter Mem. Yes? It's a Mem. It's a Mem Zgura. The Midrash says, why I'm bringing the temple? They said that if you take the letter Daled, and you take the letter Daled, and you put them together, you get a Mem. מה זה דלת?
Door,
Delet.
yeah,
Delet.
door.
So the Midrash says that the Mashiach will be one. It's talking about the two doors.
Two doors, yes.
I'm just saying that the ancient Midrash, ancient, from Safut Eichalot, it's talking about.
Sham.
Yeah, it's fun. That's what.
לפני הספירה.
That's exactly what I'm telling you. It's before. It's talking about the closed doors of the temple, the heavenly Mishkan, that will be opened by Mashiach.
Yeah.
So to me, when I'm seeing this, I understand there's a great messianic symbolism here, and it's supporting very strongly this. That's my to check also on this.
Okay.
Amazing. Now let's see the last thing here. You see? You remember the lions that we saw over here and over there? See, look.
Ah,
This
זה האריה הזה, כשהוא נופל
yeah,
מהגג.
it's not, it's going down. Now it's going down somewhere to drink something. Oh, it's going down to someone here. Something over here.
Wow.
You see the lion?
בטח.
Ben needs to get in there.
Look at this.
Honey, you got to get right up there. Wow.
He's dead.
That's what I
He's
thought.
falling. This is falling.
Going to the dead. It seems very
what I
alive, but
thought.
going
He's
to the
going
light.
to
now.
the dead.
Joining the dead.
Think about the story of it.
But this is the later part of this tomb. By definition. We have we have the ascending lion over there, and a standing lion over there.
And something in between.
No, it's a process.
It's a process. That's
He is ascending. This one is standing, and this one is dying.
נכון.
I think he's going to the dead. I don't think he's dying.
It's being blocked by something, you guys.
Going to eat the dead?
Going towards. It seems very alive, but he's going towards.
To me, it's going down,
He's
actually.
going down, yeah, but towards something down.
Could it be the same lion? I mean,
There
there
is no
is a
doubt.
story.
There is no doubt it's the same
I
line.
think it's a story with
What's the story?
Three pictures. I don't
Okay,
know,
okay,
but
yes, yeah.
I can't figure out that it's a story. I don't know exactly, you know, you
Okay.
can get a lot of interpretation, but everyone could see now in the movie. Everyone can think whatever he wants to. It's art.
But it's more than that because there's a religious
Completely.
symbolism.
Completely.
Yeah.
But
I-
this cross is amazing.
Yeah. Show the cross, friends. תראה להם למעלה שנייה. Daniel, can you get the camera somehow?
אוי,
Why? From here I can
הם
see it.
שמו כאן סימן זיהוי.
Yeah. But here I can see from this angle the cross so clearly.
It's the 5th time I'm here. It's the first time I understand that this is the cross.
Yeah.
You've never been here with me.
But I actually, Eldad, the way I read this,
Yes.
I understand these 3 lions to be one lion and one story. That's the way I understand
Yeah.
this.
Now, you see, things like that, it's like, this is
But
not
what
the
is it?
original, but it's a name in Greek. The
In
name,
Greek.
yeah, I think it's Greek, yeah.
It's Greek.
It can
Yeah.
be either Greek or Tadmorit or all the Jews. Jews, but
Again, why would be a Greek inside a Jewish burial?
Because some Jews were
Because
native Greek speaking.
those Jews were Jews that talked Greek
Yeah,
or
but
Roman.
by why so crazy with all the menorahs and then put Greek?
It's
It's
like
also-
the Jews in the United States speaking English completely. Some of them doesn't know Hebrew at all, but they speak English and they are completely Jews.
Yeah.
Or in French or whatever, you know. Not every Jew in nowadays speak Hebrew.
Yeah.
Not every Jew write Hebrew. And in their graveyards, not all the written is in Hebrew, in Old Hebrew.
It's Rapazaloa.
Yeah.
Rapazaloa.
Oh, let's go on.
Wow. Yeah.
We still
So what I wanted to show you here is this typical path for the grave thieves. You see over there, inside. You know,
Tomb
it's
robbers.
like, yeah, how do you call it?
Tomb robbers.
Tomb robbers. Okay, the robbers. So they went inside, went inside one of the graves, and then they knocked on, not like this on the walls, and when they heard something hollow, they just dig to the other one, because they were one next to another, very close, okay? So they went from one
be a
room
lot of
to
guilt.
another, many places. But what I wanted to show you here is right above here. You see over here, it's very, very delicate, but there
The
are
gladiator.
2 figures, one over here and one above. Now, if you look carefully,
Wow.
it
Then
has
come close.
a unique dressing of a gladiator. And what it wanted to show us is, hey, I'm a gladiator. I was a gladiator, and I was
And I
buried,
survived.
and I was buried here. Probably it was a very rich one. Probably it was a very important one. Just small gladiator wouldn't be buried here, okay? It's
No, a
someone that
regular
was
one, no.
important. Not a regular, it was someone special, a special gladiator, maybe survive a lot of fights, but a gladiator that was a Jew and was buried here.
Why would
okay?
you say he was a Jew?
Because he's here.
Is here, because all this burial,
So are
it's-
you saying anybody is here we can assume is some form of Jewishness to them?
this is what I believe, but it's like a form. It can be a Christian. It would be it's like the same in those times. For me, the Christianity was part of Judaism in that period
But
of
you know,
time.
you're making those statements kind of like for, but you don't understand what the implications for those statements like that. That's mean that the way we even view early Christianity is something that's actually part of Judaism.
Yes.
And again, you know, maybe we can share different. Okay.
You need to catch the.
What's the problem?
Can you see the line? Can you see?
No, Daniel, get yourself closer.
Right.
Get the light back.
Wait, wait.
Get your light back.
Way up, honey. You got
Closer,
to go up.
Daniel. Closer, closer.
Closer.
Get right
Up
there. Stop.
There.
There you go. Now we can see it. So we see a picture of a Jewish gladiator here.
Yeah.
Yes. But the implication of that is just absolutely incredible. We're in the Jewish caves and see a picture of a Jewish gladiator. There's another one. Go up a little bit, Daniel.
Yeah, over here.
Maybe
There's
the
a
artist
small
or whoever
figure.
did it tried this one and abandoned it and
Then did the other.
continued here.
Maybe.
Because this wasn't.
Or
So it's
is it
too
Not so
skinny.
good.
in resurrection?
It has a sword.
Oh, it has a sword.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Here's the sword.
Yeah. And there is over here too. It's like here and here.
And this one is naked.
Sword.
And this one is not.
Okay.
And we have the name here.
We have a name.
Yeah.
What's,
Over here.
what's the, no, I cannot read Greek.
Sometimes it's the name, sometimes it's the name plus the place that it came from.
כן, יש פה מקום מאיפה הוא.
There is a book inside the entrance that shows everything and the translation of everything. So you can see over there, maybe you can see the translation of what's written here.
I can read Greek, but this is just a bit corrupted. It's R, I don't know, can't read it.
Okay. Incredible. So this is called the Gladiator
Yeah,
Cave.
the Gladiator Cave.
That's a mighty big cave.
Yeah.
But again, not a typical Jewish...
This, oh, okay.
We
We
the
have
version.
P here, and alpha, and lambda, Palmireno.
Palmireno. It's a place, it came from
Tadmor.
Palmyra,
Can.
from Tadmor.
This
Palmyra.
one was from
Tadmor. Syria.
Yeah, Syria.
Syria. It's
Northeast Syria.
Cool.
And
He didn't make it, sadly.
I don't know, but it's Palmireno.
Palmireno. Great. So we know it came from Palmyra.
Okay, so this was called, what was the name of this particular? The Cave of the Torah Ark? What is from Aron HaKodesh? What? That's what it's called, the Torah. So, we are here with the
Two different tombs.
Come. We are here recapping what we have seen. We have seen a clearly, except for the gladiator, we've seen a clearly Jewish burial tombs, the menorahs, clear as daylight.
Yeah.
Next to it, we have seen very clearly an un-Jewish style, at least classically speaking.
Yeah.
That's to me show again the point that we have been hypothesizing here all over the Galilee, on all the places we've seen the Golan Heights, the evidence that 1st century, 2nd century, even 3rd century,
We see traces of different Judaism.
that's it.
As simple as that.
I don't know how else to describe it. Jews and Christians living together, part of the same giant thing.
Do you call the Messianic Jews Christians?
I don't.
Jews and Messianic Jews living together, and I show you the evidence in the
Early
Talmud.
Christians,
They share
Messianic Jews.
tombs, they share cemeteries, they share synagogues. I show you the evidence.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I would like to leave you here with this question. So let's say I am a Messianic Jew. I'm just trying to
Back
hypothesize.
then, you mean?
Back then. I'm just trying to hypothesize. First of all, the fact that you are buried here, it's
Means
already,
that you're a Jew.
it's interesting. How would you get a plot here as a Messianic Jew? But that's mean that you are also in proximity to this region. You are more than likely in a proximity.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
No. People
Okay.
came here from all across the east basin of the Mediterranean.
Okay, all right, okay.
Most of the people that buried here, that was buried, what wasn't
Olim
local.
Chadashim.
Yeah.
Olim-
No, wasn't local, yeah.
They were not locals.
We're not local. Yeah.
Yeah, but very Jewish.
Illegals.
Either way, this is an astonishing.
I told you.
And the two lions and the story there, or the
Three
three lions.
lions.
To me, it's clear, but of course, nobody know for sure. We can just
No.
hypothesize. But to me, the picture there makes
Keep
sense.
your mind open for other possibilities. Okay?
Yes.
This
As
is
long as
what-
you know I'm right and you're wrong, no problem. Yes, you know. No, but
No, I think no. I'm not saying this to you, but to others.
yeah, no, I
We
completely.
just dismiss any other explanation.
You know, when we put the other video from the Golan Heights, and we received thousands and thousands of views on those things, people were astonished, and all over the world we got comments from literally every place in the world.
Let me
This-
explain. There is a synagogue. You know synagogues in the Galilee? Zamir, it's for you as well. Are directed north-south.
Yeah.
In the Golan, there are some that are directed west-east, but there is one in the Golan Heights, which is directed west-east, but it has an apse like a church.
Okay.
But the apse is facing Jerusalem and not the east.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And there is a baptismal basin.
Wow. Wow.
And
And how do you know it's a synagogue? Because of the time?
No, there are archaeologists. I'm not saying it's a synagogue.
Okay.
But the archaeologists say
Said
it's a synagogue
Okay.
with the baptismal basin.
In what time they say it was built?
4th, 6th century CE.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, completely.
But if you have
It's like
a baptismal
Synod
basin,
church.
you're talking right.
Completely.
It's a correct term.
Yeah.
If you have this in a synagogue,
Yeah.
it's not a usual synagogue. And it is directed west-east, and
Yes.
it has an apse which is facing Jerusalem.
Jerusalem completely.
And I showed you that the church fathers were condemning these Jews, Christian Jews, Messianic Jews,
Yes.
who still face Jerusalem when they pray,
Yeah.
as if it's valuable. No, they say it's not valuable. It's nothing. But these people did so.
Yes.
I showed you this. So I think that the problem with modern study is that most
We have
of the-
bias. We have bias of history.
whether Jews or Christians, scholars just don't want to deal or to study the subject of Christian Judaism, Messianic Judaism.
Yes.
And everybody has his good reason, his good reason. But I think that it's just another subject,
Yeah.
and we have to study it. And it's okay if I'm wrong, but let's put it on the table and
Yeah.
discuss it.
And open it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
fascinating.
Amazing.
Okay.
Now, look what do we have here.
Wait for Daniel. Wait for
rega.
Daniel.
Mr. Cameraman.
Oh my.
Mr. Cameraman.
Oh.
Get it good, get it good. Is it getting it?
And in this place have a personal story
Go
too.
up and down, show them. And of course, as we learn from Yael, every cave tell a story.
Yeah, and I have a personal story here too.
Let's start
So,
with the personal story.
Let's start with a personal story.
Okay.
Like yeah? Okay. A few weeks ago, I was here with a group, and it was like 2 days after a very, very heavy rain. And as we saw before, you see the walls are sweating. There is drops on the walls.
Okay.
And I was entering with this group, and I was looking at this statue, and I see drop and drop and drop and drop over here. And suddenly, one drop just get out from the eye and went down. And I was seeing it. It's like he was crying,
Wow.
crying for me. Try to tell me something. Maybe that I couldn't understand, but
Wow.
amazing, amazing.
Are those the eyes?
These are the eyes,
I
and this
see.
is
The
the
Rosh
nose.
Hashanah,
No, this is the head of a warrior,
yes, yes, yes.
and this is a warrior,
This is the
Roman warrior with the hat. And what does he say? Hey, I am a Jew.
I'm a Jew.
Rega. Are you hearing what she's saying?
This is the mouth. Okay.
Rega.
This
Do
is the mouth.
illustration again, what you were just
Okay,
doing.
so I'm showing like this man is not just a simple man. He has the clothes of a Roman warrior.
Roman warrior.
So this man that you see was like a big one, not a small. So this man was a very important Roman warrior that has money, that he could be buried here, was very important. But what he tried to shout, to say to us, hey,
I'm a Jew.
I'm a Jew.
That is insanity. That is just...
Let us all remember that this kind of decoration is just a minute. This kind of it's a human figure. Jews are not allowed to apply it, but it's here, and I'm a Jew.
Like the centurion.
Let's say I'm a Jew, but slightly different.
Not an old Jew, something new. And you see this, it's the fa, how do you
Yeah.
call it? It's the fa over there?
Yeah,
Like
this-
a huge tefa on top of the
Sure.
grave. And you see part of the ruin that happens not intentionally, but it happens. You see this writing? Like a few years ago, it was all written in red.
What was it saying?
I don't know exactly, but you see up there. No, there is pictures and translation and everything for everything document. But today, this is what left. And few years from now, only because someone is just a little bit touched it, and so it fell down all the time, and slowly, step by step, everything is ruined. Now, just let's see a little bit inside here.
Oh, that's stunning. Stunning.
Another menorah.
Yeah, there are two menorahs here.
What
There's
is that
written
menorah?
over there. One in the right, one in the left. You see?
Just a minute.
There's a writing here.
Yeah, there is a writing here. There is a writing over
Is this,
here.
which is language? Is it Greek?
Greek. Yeah. I can't read it.
Okay.
Sorry.
But we see the menorah here.
And in the left side.
Hey, somebody really wants to say, hey, I'm really a good Jew. Double menorahs.
And if you have a light here, you have a lot of writings
Oh,
over
wow.
here, red ones. Over here, and over there, you see over there?
Oh, well, look at all the writing.
Put the light here.
Don't move too far. Wow.
יש שם שם.
Yeah.
אסתר. יש פה אסתר אחת, אני חושב.
Esther?
I think so. אסתר.
Wow.
Now there is something that I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me. But you see, when we come to the end of this place, first you can see
the arch.
The arch, and you can see over here that it's covered with clay. It's covered with plaster. But see what happens here. There is a grave on the left. There is a grave on the right, and there is something that for water I don't know, and I don't know if it's a basin. It's a grave. It's something
it's not a
very,
grave.
very,
It's a bones collecting pit. This. אתה יודע מה זה אומר?
Wow. If
It's
it
like
is a bone collecting...
קבורה משנית.
No.
אבל לא של
Okay, Eldad, it's a good teaching moment for everybody.
Because in this period of time, there
No,
wasn't
it's
a lot
a bone
of קבורה
pit.
משנית from...
Just a minute.
Okay.
You see here the gap between the burials meant to allow people to bury bodies in the
Upper part?
in the pits. Yes, we have the same one here, and I know a few Christian tombs in the Galilee which have present the same structure. We have here a very large burial position, but now think if you put a body in such a tomb, such a burial position, okay? And you need the place
To be
for the
cleared.
the next dead. You got to put the bones somewhere.
So you put it here.
I know about 3 or 4 like this in the. You've seen one in the Galilee.
That's a good one, though.
What?
Yeah, this is a nice one.
Yeah,
Yeah, we see the same structure.
yeah.
Exactly the same structure.
Next to tombs where there is no specified space for bones. You have pits like this.
Yeah, and there wasn't like a glucksemot in that period of time because in here we have a lot of places for glucksemot, a lot of
know.
small places. So you said this is a gathering, like in the first
It's
the
not
Tfat Bait
personal.
Rishon. It's not
No,
personal.
no,
Everyone together. Because it's after the midrash that they wanted to be separated, not to.
No,
be
even
mixed.
during the Second Temple era, when temple was still standing,
Yeah.
where the average number of dead in an ossuary in Gluskema
Yeah.
is 1.7.
Okay. Okay.
So wanting to be
Yeah.
personally buried, it's very nice,
But it didn't work. for everyone.
practice is much more effective.
Okay, so this is collective.
But
Amazing.
there are still some Christian communities in the Galilee that still use communal burial
to this day.
pits up to this day.
Amazing.
This was a Jewish habit, custom. But you're right. In the beginning, tombs are familial. Every family has its own tomb. So, and they use ossuaries, or put the bones after they've been collected in a specified niche. This is how we identify a Jewish tomb, that it has a specified space for bones.
Amazing.
Yes. But you understand that this large pit is not meant for only one dead.
For sure.
So it's not familial. I'm not sure that this tomb is familial. Maybe some families share this tomb, and they put all the bones together. But when the familial nature of burial is broken, this is allowed.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So I got an answer for unsolved riddle.
This is what I believe, because you cannot just walk with the body on your shoulders to this one. You have to cross this.
So let me say this.
You can see here that it was closed.
Yes.
You can see here it was
Because
closed.
in the bones.
Eldad.
Yeah.
So let me make sure I get it straight. 2 menorahs in the entrance, and I'm going to use the term Christian, or early Jewish.
No, late it's more.
Early
Messianic
Christian,
Jewish.
early Jewish Messianic.
And yes, early Christian and Messianic Jewish.
That's, to me, having these two with this structure is really leaving a very little room for doubt.
When you study history, there is always a doubt, but the doubt is a small one.
So this is
Let's find another explanation, okay?
Jewish structure.
I don't know. You tell me another.
I don't know.
I'm going
I
to
have
call
to
it
put
a
many details on the same sequence.
I'm going to call it a Messianic Jewish burial tomb. That's what I'm going to call it.
I'm not going to fight with you over this.
Yes.
Because, well, if someone can present a better solution, I will listen.
Yeah, but think about the implication of that. Implication of that, or those people.
You've seen
who
the
live in
cross on the roof of another tomb.
Yeah.
What's more?
Yeah.
How many crosses like this one, okay? Let's say it's not a cross. How many figures like this one we have in other Jewish tombs?
Yeah.
Zilch, none.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm telling you, friends, I just want to take a moment to Zehut. Friends, if you are a Christian or Messianic Jew or Jewish, you all need to come visit this place. You understand, even the context in the New Testament, that they were Jewish. They were a little different, but they were Jewish. Their Jewishness never came to question. Eldad, orala. To me, this is where it's become very, very real. We have seen now 3 caves, and we've seen clues unique in each cave. And it's time for all of us to understand something very, very unique. That even when we look, especially I'm speaking to my Christian friends who are watching this program, that early Christianity was Jewish. There's no other way. There is no other way to put it.
Let me say it differently.
Okay, come here.
Yes, I know some might get mad of this, but I believe that Christianity it's a form of Judaism.
At least early Christianity.
Not now.
Okay, can I quote you on that?
You can do whatever you want.
Wow! This is a bomb.
Just as Messianic Judaism or Christian Judaism is a form of Judaism,
Yeah.
Christianity is a form of Judaism. Not another form, a form.
But it's changed.
Some of my Christian friends accept it, others do not.
Because it's also.
I'm not trying to
presenting
wipe them out.
No.
Just tell them, guys, you have roots, and your roots are here in this land
Yeah.
and in this culture.
That's good.
That's it.
It's a form of Judaism.
That's a bomb. That's a bomb.
Maybe when I talk about Christianity and Judaism, I don't think that Christianity is the daughter of Judaism. It's not mother-daughter. It's two sisters. And even in the best families, sisters and brothers might fight. Yep, that's all. I did with my late brother. You probably did as well.
Oh, yeah.
Friends, this has been terrific, absolutely incredible journey through time and through ideology and even a little bit through theology.
No problem.
Yeah. Here, what I like, it says in the fairy stories, they lived happily ever after. I wish it was the case with Judaism and Christianity.
I wish as well.
It's not the case. But
Sorry.
at least in the 1st and 2nd and even the 3rd century and even to the 4th, they truly did.
Before Christianity became political, there was no problem.
Before Constantine, you're talking the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah, after that, it's truly separated.
Let's separate religion from state.
Well, at least here with the people, if you separate the politics from the people,
Yeah.
I see
You have no problem.
evidence that they live together, they buried
We've seen it in the Golan Heights.
and here's the thing, for Jews, what's most important? When I born, who I married, and when I die. This is the 3 basic things that are important to a Jew. So if they buried next to each other,
And to what synagogue do I go?
what should I go? So this is saying a lot about those relationships, which was good. So Mazal Tov to our amazing instructors today. Come, please. I want to really thank Yael. She's been fantastic with us. Eldad, you added so much incredible insights. Now that you're going to be able, we'll talk about it, worldwide event in South America. But you're going to talk about the burial caves in the Golan. We're all excited about this. You're going to his class? Okay. But I just want to say something. If you want to learn more about this, I want to remind you that in 2020, we're going to do something very special here, focused. The yeshiva going to be focused on this area, in this region here. So if you're really interested in joining this, let us know. And it's going to be a very, very special group. We'll make sure to request Yael and to request to come to the southern area because there's just so much more to see here. I mean, Yehudah Hanasi was nice, but what we see here is really in another level.
It's much deeper.
Another dimension. It's a portal.
Much deeper.
Much deeper. So I just would like to thank you again. And I want to give you one final chance. If you can give one final reflection from you, and also from you, Eldad, you're the 2 experts here, a reflection. Because obviously, each one of us come with biasness. Yes, we all have our theology, ideology, this and this. What does it leave you this place with, and what would you want to leave our audience and our students? What would you like to leave them with, please?
Okay,
and then Eldad, I would like you to say the same thing.
I think history is changing all the time. History depends on the story you tell about it and what you know. And as I said, as Eldad said before, I think the most important thing is to leave your mind open and to see with no shame and with no blind eyes and no emotion and no stories that you've grown up to see the history like it is, to try to observe and to watch the history like it is and maybe learn from it. Learn from the good part, learn from the bad part, and after you learn, you can choose to do whatever you want. So, you don't have to live in the history.
So if I would ask you a question, if there is one thing you learned, you personally, what would it be?
To love people.
It's okay. Jesus is love.
To love people.
Yes.
You ask personal question, I answer.
Yeah. Is that what you're learning from this?
Yeah. Because there are many kinds of people here. Someone
Right.
were loved,
listen.
some were not. I think that the
Wow,
things
that's
that
an
I
amazing message.
take from it, no matter what they did, I'm going to love people.
Wow, this is powerful. That is very powerful.
This is me.
Wow, this is amazing. Okay, Eldad, I turn now to you. And if you are to say, what is this place spoken to you? What is the one shekel that you want us to take out?
From this
רגע, מבוא off again.
מה אתם עושים לי?
Is it too long?
לא עושים לך תפסיק.
It's technology. You know, it's still recording technically.
should say to love technology too.
To love technology.
Hey, we're grateful for technology.
Yeah, when it's working.
I'll tell
Okay,
you, wait,
Eldad.
it's still going
Simple
around.
question.
Simple,
Wait.
very simple question for you.
Funky.
זה מגיע, זה
okay?
מגיע. זה מגיע. תעשה חצי, אוקיי? זה בסדר, זה עדיין מקליט.
Okay.
Eldad, the same question for you as I asked Yael. What do you take from this place? What is the personal message for us you take from here we're in the 21st century? We are going back in time 2,000 years almost. What is the message that you take from this? What is speak to you? What is it?
Well, first, Yael took the best part. But you know my opinions, you know my work. And when I started in the Upper Galilee and went to the Golan Heights, and now we come to the Lower Galilee, and we see the traces of the Jews, but different, almost all across the Galilee. So the message would be that I don't think there is a reason to be biased regarding ancient Messianic Judaism or modern, just as the same as I think that Christianity and Judaism in large are so close that no matter what others would do, the tie is there. And we should have much more friendly relations between all of us.
You know, it's what's the uniqueness about both you and Yael said. At the end of the thing, you didn't talk about history. You talk about people.
History
is people. It's a relationship. It's humanity.
Because history is people.
Yes, yes. And that's really what I think we can learn. I think we can learn something from the past about maybe Ahavat Israel. You know what I get from this?
Yeah.
Ahavat Israel, there was not Rabbanut here that stood with a little sign that says, what are you? It has been done truly through a spirit of Ahavat Israel. And that's the real spirit of Judaism.
Yes.
And you know what I see in this place for me? What I take from this place
What?
is the real spirit of Judaism and the real spirit of the Torah.
Yeah.
And a real spirit of
Different people can live together.
And different people can live together.
Right.
Having a tolerance, although we're in a place where Gdolei Torah, the great sages were in. So friends, so much to learn from this. What we need to apply today, I take this word, tolerance. Be tolerant for those who are indifferent from you and learn to respect each other and understand that in this thing, at the end of the day, we're in this together. Yep. And we have much to look forward for. So maybe we can learn something from 2nd century and 3rd century Judaism. We can learn a lot.
We should learn, yes.
Yeah.
And we'll do it in Bogota.
Bezrat Hashem, Bezrat Hashem. Friend, this has been an explosive episode. I hope you have been blessed by this. Subscribe, share it, and if you're in Israel, I urge you to come to do this. Take the guide for a few hours. I would personally recommend Yael very much, and said that Rabbi Shapira sent you, and I'm telling you something, it will impact you in the most deepest places in your heart, not just as looking at stone, but it will be like being part of something that has happened here, and we all even today have a potential to continue some way this rectification. So God bless you, and if you like this, please like us on the Facebook and YouTubes and share it with your friends. Litraot from Bet Sharim from here in Northern Israel. Shalom Chavarim, we are in the conclusion of this incredible adventure with Eldad Keynan today. Eldad, we learned a lot today. We have seen burial caves with fish on them. We see statements made inside a burial cave. Somebody wanted to say, hey, I'm a strong Jew, I'm still a Jew. We have seen crosses. There's
Figurative art.
Figurative art. We have seen so many things that if I put the evidence together, really,
We should do this.
and a puzzle together,
Yeah.
and I put it in the continuum time, it's clear to me that Messianic Jews lived among the Jewish people, and they
No
were
doubt.
recognized by the people as Jews,
Of course.
and they were Jews.
And by themselves.
What do you mean when you say
And even the rabbi, their enemies, never doubted
Their
their
Jewishness.
Jewishness. Yes.
That's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. We are in a season now that we rediscovering history together. We are touching, and in here in the Golan, in the Galilee,
You're
it's
correct.
true.
It's not discovering, it's rediscovering.
Rediscovering.
It's because we have to rethink with open mind.
And that's all what we ask everybody. That's the last word we want to leave you. Keep open mind, open heart, and don't judge.
And know you have good, stable roots.
Know your roots. Know your roots, and know that although we have a 2,000 years not to be brag on,
Of course.
but we cannot judge the root. Sometimes we can look at the branches and we say the branches maybe did not
Of course.
do the work, but let's get back to our roots. That's the word we want to leave you with.